Good morning, year ones. In math today, we're learning how to find a quarter. We've looked at finding a half in the past couple of days. A quarter is half of a half. But first, I've put 7 shapes on the board. I'll give you about 15 seconds to see if you can remember what all of these shapes are called. Ready? All right, let's start with the top row. Shape 1 is a rectangle. Let's try shape 2. A circle. 3. A triangle. 4. A square. How about shape 5? Shape 5 has 5 sides and 5 corners. It's called a pentagon. Can you say that with me? Pentagon. Now let's look at shape 6. Shape 6 has 6 sides and 6 corners. Do you know what this shape is called? It's a hexagon. Can you say that with me? Hexagon. Well done. Now let's look at shape 7. You've probably seen this shape before. They're often red, the sign, and it often says stop. What shape is this? It's an octagon, and an octagon has 8 sides and 8 corners. Now, can you remember what this shape is again? That's right, it's a square. Now, I have the square on the left. How could we divide that into quarters? When we divide things into quarters, they have 4 equal parts. Let's have a look. Option 1, we can draw 3 horizontal lines to divide the square into 4 quarters. Whoops. We can also draw 1 vertical line right down the middle and 1 horizontal line. Looks a bit like a window, doesn't it? Here we have 4 quarters. Silly board. Now, for option 3, we can draw 2 diagonal lines from each of the corners. As you can see, we have 4 quarters, 4 equal triangles that make up 1 square. Now, remember, this shape is similar to a square, but instead of having 4 sides that are the same length, it has 2 sides that are longer and 2 sides that are shorter. What's this shape called? A rectangle. There we go. Now, how can we split a rectangle into quarters? First, just like the square, we can draw 3 horizontal lines across to make 4 quarters. We can also rotate the rectangle and draw 3 more horizontal lines to make 4 quarters. Lastly, we can make our window design again by drawing 1 vertical line straight down the middle and 1 horizontal line right across. Next we have, what's this shape on the left? Yellowy orange one? It's a circle. And how can we split a circle into quarters? We draw one vertical line and one horizontal line. So we have 4 equal parts, 4 quarters. This looks a bit like a pizza, doesn't it? Lastly, what's this shape with 3 sides and 3 corners? It's a triangle. Now, a triangle is a pretty tricky shape to split into quarters. Can you think about how we might be able to do that? We can't draw 3 vertical lines because then our pieces would be different sizes and different shapes. We also can't draw 3 horizontal lines because we'd have the same problem. What can we do? Well, we can use triangles. 4 equal triangles make one big triangle. We've split our triangle into 4 quarters. Now, let's have a bit of practical fun with fractions. Did anybody have a chance to make this fun toy with Mr. Scullion? I'll show you again how to make it as we practice our fractions. You'll need a sheet of paper and some scissors. Remember to ask permission from your grown-up. In order to make a square with our paper, we'll take one of the short edges and fold it up to the long edge. We want to line up our paper exactly, and then we'll crease along the long side of the triangle. Now, we're going to use our scissors to cut along the edge of the triangle. We have a square, and as you can see, we folded it into 2 halves. 1, 2. Now, we're going to rotate the square and fold it the other way. So we're trying to make 4 even quarters. So I'll match my corners exactly across and then crease the paper. Now if I open it up, you can see we have 4 quarters. Half, and then half of a half is a quarter. So we'll open that back up. Now, in the very middle, you should see an X where the creases align. We're going to fold each of the corners to the very middle, to that X. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even though our square is smaller now, you can see it still has 4 quarters. 1 quarter, 2 quarters or half, 3 quarters, and 4 quarters to make a whole square. Now, we're going to flip the square upside down. So this part without any flaps sticking out will be on top. Again, we're going to fold each of the corners into this X in the middle. A plus sign, you could think of it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, our square is even smaller, but it still has 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's the slightly tricky bit. Oh, look, we have 4 quarters on this side as well. 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to take the side with 4 squares and fold it together. Fold it in half. It's much easier to crease on the table. Now we'll open it up and then fold it in half the other way. Notice half of a square is a rectangle. Now we're going to put the points together. This bit's a little bit tricky. I bet if you asked your grown-up, they would help you. Open it up and nom nom nom. Now we have our own paper toy or mouth or whatever you'd like it to be.